still a bit hopeful that March's round of the TBR game is going to be nice to me, because for what happened in February with our shortest month of the year, I also definitely had a short amount of books read. February just did not go as planned in any regards. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, I'm going to go ahead and do my February wrap-up and my March TBR together because I finished 3 books. February did not go as planned, and if it wasn't for them being audiobooks, it wouldn't have even been that many. Well, by the time this video is going up, maybe I will have finished one more. You can skip forward to just the TBR game if you want, or if you'd like to know how February turned out, let's get into it. I hope I do sound a little bit more normal this week than the last few weeks. The flu went around our house. It was super fun, even though my results were negative. I had all the side effects my kid had. Plus, it lasted super long with my brain fog, headaches. I don't know. It was hard to do things like an ebook. Thus, the first book of the month, thankfully, was already done, and that was Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinniman, because I had an e-arc for this, and I finally got the reading vlog up. This one did come out being a 4 stars. I would not put it on the same level as his series. This could be because this is a standalone book. It's a self-contained story. So much had to happen within a short amount of pages. The main character as well. It wasn't very likable, I guess. I didn't like that when we started the book, it seemed like nobody had any idea, and then you find out that he did know, or he could have known, that this was happening. There was signs. There was definitely advanced warning. But from the onset of the book, it seems like there was no warning. It just happened. Because our character is someone who would stick his head in the sand and solely focus on his own thing. And sure, that's just his character quirk, and it's his personality to be more by himself and maintain his own farm and care about his own friends and farm family, like that. But in Operation Bounce House, we are on the colony planet of New Sonora. The gate for transportation and data and things back to Earth has just opened up. The robots just finished building it, and they were a few months later informed that they are being evicted from their planet. Now, it's not like they can leave their planet, so they're like, well, what can Earth really do? We're our own government. That was a key detail. In the charter for the planet, they were supposed to be their own government, which means they don't pay taxes to Earth. It seemed like the biggest reason, probably, but it was actually only one of the reasons. And thus, the eviction action, though, was hired out to Apex Industries, I think was the name of the company. And they sent in mech robots that were remotely controlled by people on Earth, mostly teenagers and gamer streamers. It was good, it just wasn't great. It made you feel for the colonists on the planet. It made me feel for the AIs even. Or the robots, things. There was things with that, I can't even get into that. And even for some of the people on Earth. Then I started Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz, and I have not finished it. I'm at like the 41%. I made notes this time. I'm not relying on the tablet and the inability to get internet in here. I'm at 46%. That was an ebook. Could not keep reading it. I just couldn't focus on it. And this one as well. I'm not sure about this one right now. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it for a good portion of the book. But it's not even miscommunication, because they're not communicating it, that they have developed feelings for each other. But in their own minds, they're thinking, oh, this is just a business contract. No, they don't care about me in that way. Or he doesn't care about me. She doesn't care about me. They're thinking the same things while they're both catching feelings for each other. And it's gone on maybe a little bit too long. It's really short chapters, though. But within the short chapters, I would find myself get to the end of the chapter and be like, okay, maybe I can read one more. And then not really caring if I was going to read the one more or if I was not going to read the one more. There's been fun elements, but now it's just kind of plodding along a little bit too long. We're spending maybe too much in this particular point thing. Okay. Then I spent about a week or so not reading anything, and I actually started a show that I didn't think I'd ever have any interest in watching, but I did, and then I watched 3 seasons of it. My library hold for Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson came in, and that, it probably shouldn't have been an audiobook, but due to how my brain was feeling and my head in general, I could not have read it if it was an ebook. So the audiobook, got through with it in 2 days. It was a good read in the fact that I liked the book setup. The characters were okay. The narrator was not great. I think I gave it a 3.5 though. Yeah. Was it a 3.5 because the narrator with the raspy voice and trying to do the things was weird? I don't know. Or just the story in general was just okay. You're following Jet Mason as on Halloween night, she is attacked and it breaks off a piece of her skull into her brain. And it's like, it's a weird inside piece somewhere in there. But she also has a kidney disease that she's had her whole life, which makes her arteries and veins, the walls of them, very, very thin. The membranes are very thin. So the doctors say, hey, you've got about a week until you have this massive aneurysm that's going to kill you. So she walks around for that week telling everybody that she's been murdered. Because really she has. She's just not out yet. And yet still, even knowing this and knowing what the doctor had said and everything, we were getting into the last few chapters, and as she was, suffering other effects of things, I still was like, man, are they really going to kill off the main character? And yes, she does still die. But she spends the week, because nobody wants to make her be trapped in a hospital, or they can't. She's an adult, so she, just signs herself out, trying to find the killer who attacked her, why they attacked her. So she's trying to solve her own murder. And that was fun as she's going around, kind of. And before reading it, I was like, why would the police be letting her do this? And they're not. So that was actually quite realistic. The police were very upset with her that she kept showing up at crime scenes, that she kept doing this or that, and why it happened at all. Who ended up doing it? You do find out in the very epilogue part as it's following her best friend as he's confronting, they put the pieces together and everything. And it just felt so real, not like how in a lot of mysteries and thrillers they monologue or they have all of these plans laid out. It was just it happened and it felt so real. So that was cool. Pluses for the ending. That was, and the ending, there was that, and then there was the consequences of that. That was okay. And so the last thing that I have for sure finished, I listened to the audiobook for The Duke and I by Julia Quinn, I think is her name. Because I watched the first 3 seasons of Bridgerton, because the TV was a screen that I could actually look at and not hurt my head much in between my naps. So yeah, I listened to that and it was actually a lot of fun. I did not think I would like it, but I laughed at that book so much in a good way. It made me giggle, oh my gosh, because I don't know. Maybe it was just the right time for it, because it's not like it was amazing. And now I'm listening to Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. Oh right, and I did listen to Drive and The Butcher of Anderson Station, the short stories that are prequels. They come before actual book 1. And I've been enjoying my reread of that so far, and that's the one that I'm probably going to finish by the end of the month. Since I didn't finish some of the February TBR, there is one that I'm still waiting on the audiobook hold from the library. It says I'm next in line, so that's probably going to go on there. And finishing those 2 that I'm kind of in the middle of, maybe 3. There's still Gardens of the Moon. Okay, we're just going to see which ones we're adding onto the list, as well as there's an arc that I need to read next month too. And we start with a 6. Cool, I'm going to keep covering that spot. So, we get to fit this in first roll. The Thursday Murder Club, which, as I said, I'm up on the audiobook from Hoopla. It says I'm next in line, so any day now that should come in. And I do want the audiobook because when I did start this before, it was, I don't know, it could have just been I couldn't get into it then. And maybe now I could pick up the regular book and be perfectly fine. But voices reading is always better. That sounded weird. This is still following the octogenarians at their retirement home as they are trying to solve a murder. They have this club where they meet every Thursday and they solve cold cases. This time, though, it is a bit closer to home. And there's the movie that I want to watch after I read the book. So we got a 2. And I'm just going to say then we'll put Rings of Fate into this one. Look, we're just rolling February over into the beginning of the game, and that makes this super boring. I'm sorry, but maybe I'll get to finish the book, or I'll just DNF it. What else could we put there, though? Because the other book that I have is not romantasy. I don't know if that one's romantasy. There's another library book audio that might be coming in. It says my wait time is maybe down to 2 to 3 weeks. Because what if I'm not in the mood for that one either? Who could say? Low rolls. For the second mystery thriller, I'm going to say that it's going to be this one, though I know that that's... because this calls this a romance gothic fantasy. But she's stalking a serial killer. She just happens to be a vampire. And she happens to be the daughter of Van Helsing. But that would be The Fox and the Devil by Kirsten White. That's the one we're going to say for roll number whatever this one is. This is Aniki, maybe, has a complicated relationship with her father, Abraham Van Helsing, doctor, scientist, madman, devoted to studying vampires up until the night she comes home to find him murdered, with this really beautiful woman leaning over his body. A woman who leaves no trace behind other than the dreams and nightmares that plague Aniki every night. Spurred by her desire for vengeance and armed with the latest in forensic investigatory techniques, Aniki puts together a team of detectives to catch her mysterious serial killer, because her father isn't the only inexplicably dead body. So there's detectives. That is a stretch. It's a stretch. I'm aware. I don't know. A 7. I landed it on challenge space. I don't even remember what this one is right now, because it hasn't happened. So the gray one is the oldest one on my TBR. If we go by Goodreads, then that would be Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which is the first of that trilogy of the Shadowhunters YA fantasy series. I don't know, guys. I don't know. And if we go by physically what I have no idea. Yeah, of my physical books, I don't know what's the oldest. I don't know when I got any of these, and that's pretty bad. But then the next one would be Cytonic. And apparently I never read this one. Huh. This is another YA book, but I don't know. I don't know which one I should do. If we even get to this. Anyway, who knows? But yay. Okay, I'm happy with this. Okay. And a 7 again. 7. Okay, that's sci-fi. Right, yes, that's sci-fi. So I'm going to go back to my other challenge, since that book is definitely not wherever it is. And I'm going to pick up The Stars Undying as my sci-fi. And also because my other option choice is not going, words are hard right now, is not going to be here probably in March. Probably won't come into the mail until April. So, The Stars Undying by Emery Robin. And I don't particularly remember what this is about. Princess Altagarcia has lost everything. After a bloody civil war, her twin sister has claimed both the crown of their planet and the pearl of its prophecy, a computer that contains the immortal soul of Sizet's god. So when the interstellar empire of Xiao turns its conquering eyes towards Sizet, Garcia sees an opportunity to regain her planet. Garcia places herself in the hands of the empire and its dangerous commander. Ooh, the font is very large. So it looks like it's a lot of pages, but it's Well, it kind of is. It's still 513. But this is a duology. So it'd be good to get to it and have it knocked out within the amount of time I said I would read the other book, but the audiobook is just not going to be there. A 9. So yellow is sequels. So yeah, it makes it complicated because we could say that if we do finish Leviathan Wakes in what month we're in, February, if we do finish it, then book 2 would work for this one. But I did also say that it would be for the sci-fi that comes up. So I don't know. But we also have Long Past Dues by James J. Butcher, the second in the Unorthodox Chronicles that I have been meaning to get back to. Or we could even do the next book in the Dresden Files. That way we still continue on with the catching up of that. Cool. I don't know. We'll figure out which one we get to. But this one is following Grimshaw Grimswald Grimsby in Boston as he has been striving to become an auditor, which is kind of this magical police force who keeps magical people in line, carries out, investigations against them. And I don't remember if regular people know about magic or not. But Grimshaw, his magic doesn't work right? So he has always kind of struggled and failed to be able to do these things that everybody else finds super easy. Oh right, I was supposed to be writing these down as I went. Crap. Okay. For my second sci-fi, I'm going to do book 2 in The Expanse. I should actually say I'm going to finish the first book, just in case. But either we'll count finishing Leviathan Wakes or book 2, which is insert picture. That's name I don't remember. But that one is also going to be a reread and continuing on in the series. And that way, maybe by April, I can get to book 3, which is somewhere. And that's going to be the first time I've read book 3. So, okay, cool. Cool. And directly on it. Okay. And that one is the free pick. So let me figure out the oldest one on the TBR and what the yellow is and what that green one was before I decide on this one, which those clips will be inserted backwards. So getting through the first round of editing, I realized that I did never come back to the free pick. Also, I still don't know that I like the choice of putting that one there. That's not really a mystery, but I can't think of, or I still haven't thought of another thriller to fit in there, and I need to read that book towards the beginning of next month. So we're just going to do with that. What would my free pick be though? Maybe that library book that's going to come in from Hold, because there is an absurd amount of books of options to read. I don't have to read them. We can not read them. It will be okay. And there's also book 7 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, because we still haven't got to that yet, and I would like to get to that. So possibly there's also that one. And we never brought up Gardens of the Moon. Didn't read it at all in February. Overall, we have a long list of books to try though. Let's see, I'm just going to put the graphics up because I can't even think right now. Oh my gosh, I should be. Thursday Murder Club, Leviathan Wakes, Rings of Fate, The Stars Undying. 2026 has started off interesting for reading. How did your February turn out? Did you manage to get a bunch read in the short month, or I don't know where I was going with that. And I'd love to know what you guys are planning on reading in March. I hope you're having a fantastic day, finding something great to read, and that you will come back for more videos.